Antarctica, the south polar continent, lies almost entirely within the Antarctic Circle and has an area of about 6 million square miles, nearly equal to the combined areas of the United States and Europe. Most of the continent and some of the coastline is unexplored. It is the world's highest continent, averaging 6,000 feet in elevation. The polar plateau, a vast expanse of ice and snow, is 10,000 feet high. There are extensive mountain ranges with peaks in excess of 13,000 feet. There are few good harbors or safe anchorages. In most places, ships have to moor to the ice by use of ice anchors and keep steam up in readiness to move in the event of bad weather or ice conditions. Temperatures have been observed as low as 76.6 degrees below zero Fahrenheit and nearly 110 degrees below freezing. However, during the period of operations of the task force, the ground forces probably will not encounter colder temperatures than 10 degrees below zero. Blizzards of 100 miles per hour force have been recorded. It is easy to freeze or get lost in a blizzard if one is careless. En route to the Antarctic in November 1939 from Boston, the Bear puts in at the Navy Yard at Norfolk, Virginia, to pick up the pontoon-equipped Barclay Grow airplane and to take on ballast. The pontoons are specially built Edo floats for landing on either ice or water. After the ship departs Panama, the captain orders a great circle course set for the Bay of Whales. En route, there were many things to do. This scene is assembly in dog sledges, to be ready upon arrival for the mammoth task of unloading the ships. Sledges are lashed together with rawhide to keep them from being rigid, which would be the case if they were secured with screws or bolts. Lieutenant Commander R.H. Cruzen, commanding the USS Bear, greets and welcomes King Neptune and royal party aboard to initiate all polywogs into the mysterious order of the deep. Two unfortunates are sent aloft with various paraphernalia, among which is some toilet paper and bottles. What it is for is not known, but they seem to be using the toilet paper on the bottles. As progress is made southward, icebergs are passed, and eventually the ice pack is reached. Now to get through this to the Ross Sea. Killer whales, penguins, and seals abound in this area and the Bay of Whales. The bear arrives and moors to the bay ice. Mooring is accomplished by placing the ship against the ice. A landing party is sent ashore with picks, shovels, buckets, and dead men. Dead men are pieces of timber, 2x4s or 2x6s, 2 feet or more in length, with an attached short line with a wooden toggle on the end of each. The dead men are placed in the holes and frozen in by pouring water, salt, or fresh in the hole on the dead men. The ship hawsers are then slipped over the toggles. In this manner, the hawsers are easily slipped off, and the ship is able to get underway quickly, in case the ice breaks up. As the ship moors, 3 natives put on a show. What's cooking is not exactly known by us. The Bear moored to the ice, also the North Star. The snow cruiser perched on the well deck of the North Star. Constructing ramp for unloading the 27-ton giant snow cruiser. As the cruiser leaves, it partially crashes through the ramp. It is hurriedly rushed as far from the water's edge as possible before the thin bay ice breaks up. Unloading the large Condor plane was also a tricky problem. Dog sleds, tractors, and sleds driven by endless cable, powered by ship's winches, were used to get the supplies over the thin bay ice up to the barrier ice. The tank gets stuck because tracks are too narrow. it is pulled out by the tractor. The snow cruiser slowly makes headway for the base at Little America. The Ross shelf ice is about 900 feet thick and 300 feet above the water's edge at Little America. Mother seal playing with young pup. The condor being assembled on the barrier ice. View of the barrier with all unloaded supplies out of danger. The bay ice breaks up. Ships move away and will return to moor again after the ice moves out to sea. The condor is being fueled preparatory to a flight. The engine is first preheated by use of a warm-up tent. Then preheated oil is poured in. The tent is quickly removed and the engines turned over. The plane takes off for exploratory flight. Flying over Marie Birdland, the Edsel Ford and Rockefeller Mountains. During an exploratory cruise by the Bear along the edge of the continent, reconnaissance flights are made with the Barclay Grove. Yes, it is summertime here, but the saltwater spray still freezes on the plain. The task of setting up a base to accommodate 33 men and a growing family of dogs is begun. Building crews lay out sites and start erection of prefabricated buildings. First, the floor panels are laid in place and secured and bolted. These floors and wall panels are lined with 4-inch thick glass wool. Buildings are erected on the surface. Later, they will be covered with snow to the rooftops. The sides are erected. Then the roof and gable ends go on. The entire building is covered with a wind and waterproof tarpaulin. The food and fuel is made accessible by arranging boxes in columns to form tunnels. These are then covered over with bamboo poles. Then a tarpaulin is pulled over and secured. The result will be a completely submerged camp with tunnels connecting everything. The camp completed, no one seems to mind a raging blizzard such as this one, of about 50 miles force. During the winter night and blizzards, indoor work is done. These are scenes in the science building. Class is conducted in navigation. All trail parties have to be accomplished navigators because of the lack of landmarks. Instructions in radio transmission and receiving for all trail parties. Uncovering fuel oil barrels and diesel fuel oil cache. Placing a blowtorch to a barrel of diesel fuel oil to assure flowing through pumps to indoor tanks. Fueling the generators. Food and coal are carried into galley. A party leaves camp at night through a trap door to make sled traction tests at different temperatures. This will determine size and shape of runners for sleds. Inside one of the dog tunnels, these dogs experience temperatures of more than 75 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit, over 107 degrees below freezing. Water is provided by sawing ice blocks. These blocks are sent through a chute in the roof of the house and into a tank where they are melted. The planes are stored for the winter night to protect them from blizzards. Ice hangars are constructed in the fashion of building a brick house. Digging out barrels of fuel with the thermometer at 66 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. Notice these men's faces after working in this temperature for about 4 hours. The garage was always covered with snow and had to be continuously shoveled out. The tank leaves the garage for a test after the track has been widened. The tank then became a very useful tractor. Another digging project excavates the garage, this time for the tractor. The tractor exhaust is a series of smoke rings and resembles clay pigeons in size and shape when the temperature is 55 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit or colder. Hauling in freshly killed seals for dog food. Some of these seals will be cooked, and the fat will be used as a vehicle for dog pemmican cakes for use on the trail. Chopping up seal meat to feed the dogs during a blizzard. Herding emperor penguins into captivity for later use as exhibits in the Smithsonian Institute. The sea leopard is the only dangerous seal in the Antarctic. Note its serpent-like head and large fangs.